Emilio!
Renee!
What's up, buddy?
Oh, just enjoying another day in paradise.
Aren't we? It's you know what? Today is not a paradise type day for me. Today has gone to shit for me, and let me tell you the ways. First of all, before you hopped on this call, I had the bright idea that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pack up out of this guest room and I'm going to move things back up to what was meant to be my rightful, true studio space. But it didn't go that way because my internet is dog shit, and I don't know how to fix this. I got to have somebody from Cox come over to my house. Yes, I am putting Cox on blast right now here on the show. I hope that somebody that works for Cox is able to reach out to me, connect with me in some capacity, because I don't live in a gigantic enough house. I don't have wings to my house for me to need different modems set up throughout my house. Then on top of this, I get these bullshit Wi-Fi connector. You connect one next to the modem, hardwired into that, moved one upstairs, hardwired into that. That also still did not work. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm throwing my hands up at this point, but I just want everyone to know, if you've seen the older episodes, I put up a beautiful wallpaper. I bought a gigantic calendar because we are moving and shaking over here on Oral Sessions, now a part of the Volume Network. And I have dates I need to plug in. My phone is no longer sufficing. Oh, and then I just had to have a nap. And I'm sweating now because I'm upset. How are you doing?
First off, Cox on blast, really funny. Like
Cox are on blast, bitches.
Cox are all on blast.
All the Cox are on blast.
That's it. Just
take that. I didn't even realize what I said. That is definitely a good soundbite, though. That should be the name of this episode. Cox on blast.
Yeah, I think it should be. Maybe we will do it. Why not? This is just how it is. But I'm glad that you took a nap. You're recharged. You're refreshed. You're ready to go. So you're perspiring. That's okay. You're pregnant.
Means you're alive.
It is. It means
my
your
blood is pumping.
You're fucking ready to go on the show today. That's the type of energy we need.
I was supposed to have like a meeting this morning, and then that got moved, and then I was supposed to go do yoga, and then I was like, I just can't. I need to have a nap. But here's a real high point of my day so far. I made a turkey panini, which in the world of pregnancy life, you can't have any kind of deli meat of any sorts unless it's heated. So I've been avoiding it. And I'm like, I just want a turkey sandwich. I slapped it on my George Foreman grill, and that made me happy. I'm a happy lady because of that.
Did your mouth have a party and your taste buds were invited?
Yes.
They were like, oh my God, we need to have this turkey club sandwich melted.
Thrilled.
Okay.
Thrilled.
What type of cheese did you use?
Swiss, because I had Swiss that was pre-sliced. So I went with that. I was going to use a sharp cheddar, but I went Swiss, and I am not looking back.
You shouldn't. I haven't had a sandwich or deli meat in a very long time.
What do you eat?
It's fucking twigs and berries and air at this point as being plant-based.
Yeah, okay, so how long have you not eaten meat at this point?
4 years.
And do you ever get the vegan style deli meat?
No, I don't. I don't believe in No, I don't believe in the processed vegan stuff either, where they say it's healthier. No, it's still processed, so I'm good.
I feel like it might give you tits or something, right?
Yeah, I don't want tits. I don't need them. You know what I mean? If I did, I would just stay indoors all day and just examine my body, and I would play John Mayer's "My Body Is a Wonderland." So it just would not be a good time. I mean, it would be a good time, but I would never leave the house. I wouldn't get this show done. Nothing. No, it's just, to be honest with you, no, I don't believe in the soy-based products. I don't do the fake cheeses. I also have a nut allergy, so most of the fake vegan cheese. Yeah, I'm all sorts of on this side.
Where do you get your protein from?
Beans?
Just beans. That's your main source of protein. I know that's a legitimate source. That's good.
Lentils, that they help. Legumes. Okay. I can't eat peanut butter either. I'm allergic to nuts.
Oh my word.
Yeah, I tried to go to this health food store, and I bought a seed spread, thinking, oh, sunflower seeds. I cooked with sunflower oil. I'm fine. Eat the bread. Allergic reaction.
Did you have to EpiPen?
No, I can't afford one, so I was drinking Benadryl like I was sipping on lean.
Oh my
it was just,
God.
Yeah, and water. So I survived. I'm good. I'm here.
You're here. You live to tell the tale. I always forget that things in America cost money like that for healthcare stuff. It always rocks my world.
So now I just dance with the devil by the pale moonlight when I decide to go eat something.
Let's howl at the moon and eat some seeds and some deli meat. See what happens.
Yeah. It probably, my life would probably be a lot easier if I just went back to eating like, the same way most Americans eat. But,
do you miss it?
I mean, I miss Sunday dinners and chicken cutlets. That's like that type of thing, like a chicken cutlet.
Your mom must be upset.
I mean, I broke her at this point, so it is what it is. She knows now, like when she makes like Sunday dinner, like whatever.
You're
at this
out.
point, yeah, I'm out.
Okay, so that's sort of like rant. That's me getting my mood out of the way. I'm good though. I did my hair today. Do you notice?
It looks fabulous. I was gonna say something. I also like that it's not even like. It's growing now. The bob is kind of gone, but you've already explained the bob situation. So we're good. We got the cock stuff out of the way. We're talking about your hair now.
Cocks and bobs, babe.
That's it. That should be the name of the episode. Cocks and bobs. Cocks and bobs.
That's one nice thing I will say about not being on regular TV at all right now is I can just let my hair grow out. I don't have to plug in extensions. I don't have to worry about a weave. I don't have to chop the bob out, which is what I normally would have done. Just letting it do its thing. Also, side note, I don't know if we need any sponsors for this show, but Aveda, have you ever used their rosemary mint shampoo, body wash, moisturizer, the works?
No, I have not.
Oh my God. Listen, you want to talk about a nice earthy smell? I know that that's up your alley. This is it. Okay. I smell amazing right now.
I mean, I can smell you through the Zoom call right now.
You can just
smells
tell.
Amazing. Yeah, it's
you can just tell.
My olfactory systems are just going crazy right now. It's like, I need this ambrosia in my life. I want to smell like that now. So I'm going to have to buy some of that.
One more side note, because you're saying a lot of things that are percolating in my brain. I've been looking up wallpapers as I'm getting ready to put this nursery together for this baby. Do you know that there is a company that does scratch and sniff wallpaper like in Willy Wonka?
Stop it.
I swear to God. I didn't do a huge deep dive on it, but yeah, they do scratch and sniff wallpaper.
Could they send you samples to scratch and sniff? Maybe
I should just order some samples just to see.
I think you should. Oh my God. So what smells were you thinking to have in the nursery?
When I think of it, all I think of is schnozberries from Willy Wonka.
Because the schnozberries smell and taste like schnozberries.
Exactly. So that's all I could think of. I don't want this actually in my house. I just enjoy that it exists.
Well, I mean, maybe one accent wall wouldn't be so bad. And then you can take it down in a couple of years.
I'm only going to do an accent wall on any of the wallpaper regardless. I asked John if I could remodel the house today. It was a hard pass.
Well, what would you do? Because I'm really big into those HGTV and Discovery home things.
That's what happened, dude. So I ended up I subscribed to the Discovery app because of Chip and Joanna Gaines. That's some star power, don't you think? If she's great, Chip is great. Their dynamic is so effortless. They're so charming. She is the brain. He is the brawn. They're just great. So I watched an episode of their show, and that's when I was like, man, this couple have bought a house somewhere. I don't know if they were still in Waco or if the show has moved on from Waco. But they bought this house. It was literally covered in fecal matter. It was just trashed. It was so gnarly. And Chip and Joanna Gaines turned this bitch around. It looked so good. Just beautiful wood paneling. They did the whole bathroom this hunter green from obviously the walls, but all the way up this on the ceiling. Absolutely beautiful.
The one thing I don't enjoy with that show is they will use shiplap everywhere. But I guess shiplap is the thing once you go into Texas and all the southern states as a decorative
they use the word tongue and groove a lot today.
Yeah.
Which that's what I should have called this show instead of Oral Sessions, the old tongue and groove.
The old tongue and groove, right? The cocks and bobs and tongues and grooves.
I didn't intend on this show taking this turn.
Filthy already. Horrible.
I didn't plan on it, but that's just where it's headed. I mean, you actually started it because I was just talking shit about Cox Cable.
Yeah.
You turned that into a whole different scenario.
Well, I'm perpetually 14 years old, and I'll constantly laugh anytime I hear something that's an innuendo. So I was giggling. I was trying to be professional because I am almost 40. So I'm trying to be professional, and you're just talking about cocks, and I'm like,
tongues and grooves, and I know it's anyways.
So Jon said no.
He said no. He said no. First of all, he threw his hands up and goes, "When's it ever going to stop?"
Never. You own a home.
It's never going to end.
You got to tell him that. You'd be like, Jon, babe, we own a home. It's going to change. Eventually, you might want to leave that house, and you might want to be like, okay, so look, let's put a little bit more equity in so we can sell it high.
You got to invest in yourself, you know? You got to spend money to make money, babe.
That's what I'm saying. I would love to see one of those kitchens with a white Subway backsplash and a beautiful kitchenette, like with a marble, with marble countertops.
A waterfall countertop, perhaps.
Oh, come on. What are you doing?
The options are endless. I love our house, but there's things that could be done. I think that's where everyone's been at during this quarantine pandemic, is everyone's looking at every corner of their house being like, ugh, what was I thinking with that paint color? My baseboards need to be painted. This needs to be clean. We actually just called the 1-800-GOT-JUNK people today. What a business those people have. Okay, hey, you want to talk about some wrestling real quick?
Why not?
Why not, right? I mean, that's kind of the theme of our show, in and around. Ish.
Yeah, we made our livings in wrestling.
Yeah. That's good. Christian is my first topic that I would like to talk about. We saw him in the Royal Rumble. He's been cleared. We talked about it on the show earlier. What do you think if you were Christian, or you were, say, his like real life manager advising him on some career moves? What would you like to see him do at this point in his career? He's a 47-year-old man. He looks like $1 million, perhaps in the best shape of his life, new lease on life, medically cleared to compete in the ring. What does he do?
If I was his guy and I was telling him, listen, baby, this is what we got to do. We're going to keep you super exclusive. You're a main event player. We want the Brock Lesnar treatment. We want you to come in when it's a big money match, big fight feel. I don't need you in a weekly segment. I don't need you cutting promos. I come in when it's time. You know what I mean? Let's pick one championship there and let's make a move on it. Do you want to be Universal Champion? If you want to go to SmackDown, let's focus on that. Do you want to have this? You were promised an Intercontinental title match 7 years ago when Big E was Intercontinental Champion. Now that he's Intercontinental Champion again, do you want to go after Big E?
That's a juicy tale right there.
Right. So it's like
that's a juicy tale. I like that a lot. Beautiful storytelling. Great players at like beautiful times of their careers.
Well, also,
it's interesting. It's meaty as all hell.
It's super meaty. And if you look at it, Big E has come into his own in 7 years.
Yeah.
He's a 10-time tag team champion. He's in one of the most popular trios within the WWE. He's a certified Hall of Famer. Super over.
Oh, he's going to be a 2-time Hall of Famer, no question.
He has to be. So, 100%. The only thing now that is missing in this really illustrious career is a dominant and monumental solo run. So the early part of his career, he was Intercontinental Champion, right? Yeah. Now he's Intercontinental Champion, but he's older and he's wiser and he has more command in the ring. He has a wherewithal in the ring. He has
more sway in the back as well. More sway in the back as to how these stories are going to be told.
Right. So now it's like, and back then that belt was being passed around like a hot potato.
Yes.
Now the culture of just title switches has changed in WWE.
Well, there's always been that conversation around the Intercontinental title too, of like, it's the most prestigious championship and it's for the workhorse and blah, blah, blah. But it has obviously lost that luster around it over the years due to what you just said. But you put it on somebody like Big E, and whether he were to drop it to Christian or not, I think that's like a beautiful tale within that championship story.
And plus, that the promos alone are going to be worth their weight in gold.
Oh my God. They'd be so good.
And
go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry to cut you off. The whole social media aspect as well.
Yeah. Christian's not big on social media. He is, so he can help to kind of push that along on there 100%. Christian needs to step up his social media game. I often tag him in things, and instead of responding to it, he just texts me. That's not how that's supposed to work. But that's okay. But I and also just like Christian is such a, we obviously know throughout his career that he is like the dude to put people over. He has the best matches. He is well known amongst all of his peers as being one of the best in the ring, from the technical standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, to constructing a match. I always remember talking to Jon about this, and he was like, man, I always heard that Christian was good. And when they came in as the Shield, like him and Seth, especially, like they really thought that they just knew all they needed to know about getting in the ring. But then they stepped in there with Christian, and it was just like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he invented the ladder match, for crying out loud.
Which is a crazy concept to think about. You know, they took that inanimate object that was used in wrestling, but it wasn't really used as a proper projectile or just like it's like they use it as a person in the ring.
Yeah.
And that's what Edge and Christian really did. Some of the coolest stuff that I've ever seen Christian do was in the WWE, but outside of the WWE, he really made his mark in Impact and TNA. And if you have Impact Plus, or if you want to subscribe to Impact Plus, go and watch some of the stuff Christian was doing when he was on this quest to become.
You get a cut for that, Emilio?
No, I just believe in him, and I just like Impact. I just think they're a really good organization, and they get shitted on because of like old school stigmas and booking of the past, and their television's like. This is a wrestling podcast, so I want to talk about like cool wrestling, and Christian stuff there was great, and he's a phenomenal performer. So I would love to see him come back, mix it up with somebody who you know is gonna wrestle safely as well against Christian,
100%.
Which is a huge thing. They're gonna go
huge thing.
They're gonna make it like they're gonna go all in. They're gonna go balls to the wall, but they're gonna do it in a way where you know what, like their skulls ain't gonna get rattled in the brain.
Oh my God, nobody wants to play that game right now. Absolutely not. I mean, you've been on the shelf for 7 years, and now you get this opportunity. You're not going to want to roll the dice on that. You want to work with the safest, best people. So to what you just said about his time in Impact or in TNA and all that, his time outside of WWE, is that something you as his manager would suggest?
I would say
at least give it a glance. Give it a little look-see.
I'd be like, listen, listen, you're not signed with the Fed right now. You're not signed to New York. You're coming in. You want to go to New York? You want to go to Nashville? You want to go to Jacksonville?
Yeah.
You want to go to Japan? Where you want to go? Let's field the best offer. Let's see how many nuts we can grab.
Well, I think it's also a matter of like what he wants to do.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it comes down to, as it does for so many people, and you can't blame them, but it's like, what's going to be a good paycheck, but also this is his opportunity to rewrite his ending.
I think he wants to stay with WWE. I think he wants to retire with WWE, and rightfully so.
Especially with Edge there. Do you ever perhaps see those two getting back together and going for the tag titles?
You know, that's one of the things that I thought the night of the Royal Rumble, and I wanted to share, but I forgot to even talk about that because we just had so much fun on the Royal Rumble episode, and you can watch that on YouTube, or you can go back on our feed.
Subscribe, share, all that, baby.
Smash that notification bell if you want to see more Renee Paquette. But
ring the bell.
Ring the bell. I would love to see them go back and do it, because that tag team division right now stacked. You have the Street Profits. They're a phenomenal tag team. You have Bobby Roode and Ziggler, they're the SmackDown tag team champions right now. Then you have the Hurt Business, who are just crushing television right now.
They really
one of
are.
The highlights of Raw. So you can see Edge and Christian going against Shelton and Cedric, and I think it would be so good. So I would like to see them come back, and even if they want to work a part-time schedule, do it, and then you can have some really fun. You can pop in, you can pop out, you could do the vignettes. Edge and Christian are just
so much of it boils down to too is like, what's gonna make you like tick? What sounds like fun to you? Because the options, there's a ton of options. So it's like pick a lane, but you can bounce around and kind of check off all of these boxes during this run if that's the thing that you want to do.
I think that's a huge thing to think about as well, because it's like, well, what do you want to do? You know, those two guys have done everything. So what is it do you want to do?
I can't wait to have him on this show. Oh my God.
That's the question you should ask him. Like, Christian,
That's the only question I'm going to ask him. And it's going to be an hour-long answer of us dissecting how that's going to go. What do you want to do?
And he might say, I don't know. And then you're going to be like, what do you want? And it's just like the Notebook. What do you want?
I'll just keep rephrasing the question until he answers me or comes up with something. Just as you mentioned, not the viewerships and all that, but the things to watch on Raw and SmackDown and all that. I think we would be remiss to not dedicate this episode to Nia Jax's hole. Because this poor woman, which, so apparently has that been taken down off of everything? I heard that it got stripped off of Raw. You can't, like, that clip is gone. It's not like YouTube. Like it's gone.
unless you see it. And if you like do a search on Twitter, people, they screen cap everything.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's amazing.
It's all over the place. So the hole will live on in cyberspace.
I texted her. I was like, hey, not to pile on, but like, you all right? She's hanging in there. The hole's okay.
Okay.
She's doing okay.
You gotta feel bad for the hole.
Of course. I can't imagine what that feels like. She did like a leg drop on the apron and landed funny and like blasted her ass open. I don't know. Didn't X-Pac do something similar several years ago?
Yeah, he broke his ass.
Yeah, he broke his ass.
She broke her ass, essentially. That's what happened.
That's a real thing. So, guys, beware. And just note this episode is, in fact, dedicated to Nia Jax's hole. Other things that have happened in the world of wrestling is Bow Wow, who I've recently realized is no longer Lil Bow Wow.
No, he's not little no more. He's grown.
He's 33.
Yeah. Well,
I did not know that. It made me feel better because I always thought that I was much older than Bow Wow. I'm only 2 years older than him.
How does that make you feel?
I feel like Lil Renee. That's what I feel like.
Lil Nay.
Lil Nay. That's me.
Lil Nay. That's your nickname from now on.
That's me. So he wants to, after this album, he wants to retire from the rap game, focus on his acting, and he wants to step inside a WWE ring. That's like his bucket list goal, is to become a wrestler. Lofty goal. I'm for it, and I'm sure it's gonna happen because it's gonna happen. WWE is gonna bite on that.
I bet you they're already biting on it. Somebody's slid in his DM.
He's probably down at the PC right now.
Absolutely.
Him and Bad Bunny are having a little powwow, a meeting of the minds, if you will.
That's it. They're like, how can we come in here and make the bag here now? What are we doing?
Yeah. Apparently Bad Bunny's cleaning up on his merch sales. Have you seen this?
Oh my God. But he was cleaning up on his merch sales before even coming into WWE. He's a merchandise killer as well. He's really figured out how to monopolize all streams of revenue. Now, I don't know what the structure of his deal was, but I remember back in the day when I was in the music industry, 360 deals was like, no, we can't have no 360 deals. And
those went out the window a long time ago.
Because now you can go independent, and he's a dude that just has a huge social media feed, and in that space, he can really command some big dollars, and everything he does right now, musically and socially, he has the Midas touch. So I like the merch on shop.com. I was looking at it. I was like, oh, this is
when they
really
put it up
cool.
During Raw or Rumble, I was like, oh, do I need a Bad Bunny hoodie? Because I kind of dig it.
Right. So I was thinking the same thing. I like the hoodie. I was like, oh my God, do I like this? Do I really like this? Or am I just so enamored with Bad Bunny and what he's doing and how impressive it is that they really utilize the Damian Priest debut as well with this, because that could either crash or burn.
No, it's really interesting. And it's better than, you see all the hubbub that happened on the internet, which is my main source of finding out most things wrestling these days. But that Kevin Owens was initially supposed to be paired with Damian Priest. And he was like, well, why? I don't really know him. We have no relationship prior to this. It was just like something that was supposed to be mashed together, where this feels like he's getting like a legit spot. He's a great performer. Obviously, we know that. We've seen that. The guy's got star power or star quality. And now he's getting that Bad Bunny rub.
And I think that's a nice indoctrination into the main roster. Yeah. And it's like, all right, we're going to put you with somebody that is a pop culture phenomenon who transcends music right now, right? He's crossing over that Cheetos commercial is just it's on every minute on the minute if you change the channel, or it's him and his music is playing, and it's bright and it's colorful, and it's such a good song, and you're bopping to it. Like, I had to search that. I was like Bad Bunny Cheetos commercial, and I found the song in its entirety. So it's one of my gym songs now too, and I just blast and I work out to it. But that dude, he's crushing it right now. My thing with celebrities coming in, and it's not just like musicians and performers. My thing is you really got to learn this thing, because you just can't say I can do it.
Well, we saw the Snoop Dogg splash. Well, shit, we saw the Bad Bunny splash, which was also nearly a neck breaker.
Right. So it's dude, you guys should really go down, take the reps, do the bumps, get the coaching down, and really learn the footwork, learn how to run the ropes. Even if you're just going to work a headlock and you're just going to do an Irish whip into the corner, or you're going to sell something, at least learn the fundamentals to do that. Just don't think you can go in and wrestle, because you can't.
Well, it's also very interesting. I mean, in my time in WWE, we had so many different celebrities come through, and some people do want to come in and just have that star treatment, do their spot and get out of there, where there's other people that become fully invested, where they want to work on their spots. They want to go down to the PC, or they want to get around and roll around in the ring. Stephen Amell, before he came down and did his match with Cody Rhodes, I believe it was SummerSlam when they did that years ago. But he put in a ton of work of learning how to get in the ring. I mean, as we've seen, he's done stuff with AEW. I mean, he's now doing his own wrestling show, Heels, which I think is on Stars, starring our pal, CM Punk, which you can go back and listen to that episode as well. But there's, you see, who else was another person that came in that really was into the whole beast of WWE was Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was he, of all people that come in, and he's such a big star. He's such a big personality. He's a busy man, but he was engaged the whole time. He loved it. I mean, shit, him and Rock are thick as thieves, but you could tell he really respected what was going on there. Same with someone like Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart was cool too. I mean, he had the ultimate swerve. He took the United States Championship off John Cena with a chair shot, and have Seth Rollins become the man. That was the night that CrossFit Jesus was born, because he came out in his all white gear, that big money gear. One of the funniest interactions that you mentioned, Kevin Hart, that I seen where a superstar does one of those backstage segments was Kevin Hart and Adam Rose.
I was in that.
See, so you remember? So it was the lolly.
I was in it.
Pops get passed around.
Yes. Yeah.
Please talk about that. It's burned into my brain. Where at first Kevin Hart's looking at him like, "What?" And then Adam Rose leaves Kevin Hart has the lollipop, and then he starts, oh.
Yes. So that was the time we were in Cleveland. I can remember the building where we were shooting it. We're in Cleveland, and we were shooting that. And that's when that was the only time I really got to talk to Kevin during the day. My buddy, Kevin, we're on a first name basis, Kevin Hart. And he was just, he was not in a rush to get out of there. He wasn't hurry up, let's film this so I can go sit in a trailer somewhere. He loved that whole process. It was really cool. He for someone to really take that time and really be invested in what was going on. And it was really fun. That was a cool moment. What's Adam Rose doing these days?
I don't know. I thought that.
I feel like I heard he got huge again.
Jacked? Carlito jacked?
I think so. I'm not sure. I got to look into that. I'm not sure what he's doing now. I wonder.
I want to look it up, because I thought that gimmick was so good.
It was really great. They had the bus and everything. They really lived that gimmick out for a while. I mean, he didn't tour on that bus. He became one of the crew buses, but it was that big rosebud bus. It had the wrap on it and everything. It was hilarious.
And a lot of
you know what? The thing that happened with him though, he was one of those prime examples of oh, you're a big hit at NXT, but it does not connect on Raw or SmackDown.
Right. But I think it's a matter of to me, just having patience with a lot of things, right? So if you have patience and you let it develop, things could go. And the funny part about it was all the bulk of the extras that were used in that have become really big deals.
I remember when Becky came up to be an extra in it. This was a million years ago, but she came up, like they were bringing in some of the stars from NXT and all that just to give them some more TV time and be at regular TV tapings and all that. But I remember when Becky was one, and like, yeah, I mean, there's a whole laundry list. I guess we could probably look that up later, but yeah, there's a ton of people.
Braun was one of them too.
Yeah.
Braun was one too. Yeah.
So funny. Yeah. Shaq. We're going to see Shaq step into the ring finally. I mean, this has been a long time coming. The last time we saw Shaq in in any kind of ring was with WWE at, I believe it was WrestleMania 32, if that was Dallas, which was when he ran in that battle royal on the pre-show. And it seemed like they were trying to head towards Shaq and Big Show, and then that never culminated into anything. For whatever reason, I have no idea what happened there or why that didn't pan out. But to think from all the, what was that, 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, something like that. If I did the math, it's 5 years because we're going to 37 right now. That now he's going to finally get his match, but with Cody and Red Velvet with his chick Jade with him. How do you think that Shaq is going to fare? I guess it kind of comes down to what we just said though. Like, is he putting in work or is he just going to go in and like look to choke slam somebody?
Well, I think he's going to be Shaq Diesel because that's just who he is.
Of course,
he was just a king and a titan in the NBA.
Yeah,
and he would box everybody out at center.
Uh-huh.
The first question that I wanna know would be what's going to be the entrance music, because when he came out at WrestleMania 32, he came out to Panda. And I was like, okay, so when that came on, I was like, oh, this ain't a WWE performer. Who is this? And then he comes out. And I'm like, yeah, like I got all into it because when he came out to that, I was like, okay, because it was the hottest song at the time. Like you couldn't, so I wonder what's he going to use as his AEW entrance music.
What is Jade's
the
music?
One thing.
Because it's really about putting Jade over, right?
Yeah, I don't, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. And I think like the wrestling music really like is there needs to be a distinct song, even if it's something that they use together. Maybe they come out to Meg the Stallion. I love Meg. Come out to Meg. I don't know. Just don't give me something generic. That's the one thing. You know what I mean? Like,
for the
just
love
don't
of
give
God.
me that. But if they come out and it's like electric and it's
and you can't have Cody come out with all of his pyro and like all of the bells and whistles, and then they just even up to like a flat song. We got to give Shaq the works.
I think he's Shaq.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's Shaq. So I think it's about commanding certain things. And he's such a larger than life personality with everything that he does, the commercials that he does, those Jack Links jerky ones, the ones with the general, there's so many really funny commercials.
General.
He's such a dynamic performer. Does anybody
Hot.
even use the general insurance? Like Icy Hot as well.
So we had used the general insurance for a period of time because when John bought his truck, so when I moved out here, I didn't have any vehicle. I used like a Vespa scooter for the longest time until John made me get rid of it and get a real car. But John got his truck and they're like, well, you can't drive it off the lot without insurance. And he thought of the general commercials and called and got general insurance. He used that for like a year. John is their customer. He's their guy. He
was part of the general's scheme.
He's part of it. He's part of
the scheme.
So great.
But he's such a dynamic performer, just the personality. He really understands it. And what I like is the crossover appeal on Inside the NBA on TNT, where he can come in, he can cut these promos, and he has like, an amazing ensemble to bounce off of.
Yeah.
With his table mates, and they can all just come in like, he'll poke fun at Charles Barkley, you know what I mean? And then like Charles Barkley can quip something back to him. And then you can see the crossover on AEW. And I think it's really cool. I look forward to it. I think it's the right time. I think it's the right place. I think, physically, if it's not now, it ain't never going to happen. So
make it happen.
I look forward to it.
And it's smart for TNT to start incorporating their talent across other platforms. It makes the most sense. It's great. So another big thing that happened in the world of wrestling this past week was Gabe Tuft coming out as transgendered, formerly wrestled in WWE as Tyler Rex, and it went public with everything. I mean, I think it initially first happened on her Instagram with the teases of the countdowns to the big reveal, and then did this really great sit down with Extra TV with Billy Bush. And I can't imagine what kind of pressure goes into the lead up of finally revealing your true self to the world, and also having to hold on to that for so long.
Right, right. Well, it's also, I think it's incredibly brave
Me
because locker room
too.
culture, just outside of professional wrestling, there's a lot of toxic masculinity in
Sure.
that. You know what I mean? I've been on teams, and I've been on teams and I played on teams where it's very, and it's not like
Yeah.
that. Oh, you got to be intense, and you got to play through the injury. You got to be a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what is the definition of a man? That's the real question. And I think it's incredibly brave for Gabby to say, this is my true form. This is who I am. This is what I've always felt. This is how I identify. And the cool thing is that the wrestling community, which sometimes can be one way or another, has been very accepting and saying, you do you, congratulations, you find your true self, you be happy with who you are.
The wrestling community, and as much as you can say, for sure there is and there has been that toxic masculinity that has been a thread just throughout sports in general. But as things are changing, and as more people are coming forward as to who they are and how they want to live their lives, it's really cool to see that acceptance happen. Like I can't imagine the weight lifted off of her shoulders to be like, it's out there. I feel great. The world is like, fully supporting me in all of this. I just think it's really, really great to see. I never got to work with her in WWE. We weren't there at the same time. Might have made, like, I've never even met her. But yeah, I mean, I would love to have her on this show and just to give her a platform to tell her story and talk about anything that's going on in the transgender world, LGBTQ issues, all of that. It's just very brave and very cool that her wife Priscilla is like at her side during all of this and fully supporting everything. It's really cool to see. But no, I mean, so I never got to work with Gabby. We weren't in WWE around the same time. Like I've never even met her, but it is very cool to see. I mean, as you say, with the toxic masculinity in that thread that can be so common amongst just any locker room. It's really cool to see her be able to come forward and share her story and share her true self and just be enveloped by all of this acceptance and love. And it makes me happy to see someone be able to do that. And I would, I plan on legit reaching out, but I would love to let her know that this is a platform if she ever wants to come on and have that conversation and continue to spread awareness about being transgendered, about anything LGBTQ, all of that. I mean, those are conversations that I would love to have and continue to give her that platform here.
Come on, Gab. We'll make turkey and cheese. We'll make turkey and cheese paninis, and we'll just have a good time.
Hell yes, 100%. Yeah, I would love that. I think that would be really, really cool. So kudos to you, Gabby. So happy to see you living the life that you want to be living, and just to have all this acceptance. I imagine you feel like $1 million right now to have it out there to the world and doing you. We've gone quite a bit here. We didn't get to talk about Free Britney, but we've covered a ton of shit. It's fine. Okay, cool. We did this, guys. We just wrapped another episode of Oral Sessions. I like these little hangs. It's a nice little like check-in powwow. And more than anything, I'm going to call Cox and tell them to get their asses over to my house and figure out my internet so I can move back upstairs to my beautiful wallpapered room and set up some art and make this shit look really pretty.
Fucking Fox.
God damn it. You hear me?
Oh,
all right, guys, we'll see you next week. And don't forget, so for our Tuesday episode, John and I are going to do a little Valentine's Day episode, much to his chagrin. So send us some questions on the old Twitter machine, because we would like to dole out some relationship advice. I think that we're going to be good at that, specifically him. He's like the Buddha when it comes to that stuff. So send us some of those questions. It'll be great.
Should we do a hashtag?
Oh gosh, what would be a good hashtag?
Dr. Feelgood?
Dr. Feelgood. Yes. Yes. Use the hashtag Dr. Feelgood. And yeah, and we'll get your guys' questions on the show, and we'll have a little chit chat, talk a little love and romance in the year 2021.
Awesome. Renee, how can they follow the volume on social media? How can they follow
Oh my
you?
God, look at you.
How can they follow the YouTube? Plug
All right,
everything.
guys, here we go. Are you ready? All right. First and foremost, I would just like to say that this show that you're listening to currently is available where you're listening to it. But there's also on YouTube, if you just search in my name, Renee, Paquette. We've got a YouTube page. We've got all of the videos from the past interviews. There's clips. We're putting up the full episodes, the whole shebang. Make sure to go on there, like, subscribe, share it all, get all those notifications because you want to be in on the know. You want to be in on the ground floor, 100%. And then on all social media, you can follow me at Renee Paquette on Twitter and on Instagram. Emilio, you are just at Emilio Sparks, right? Yep, at Emilio Sparks. Give Emilio a follow. And then, of course, the big daddy of them all, Volume Sports. So you guys want to follow all things for Volume. So on Twitter and on Instagram, it's at the Volume Sports. You can keep up on all the other shows, all the other things that are happening in the world of Volume as we continue to build this podcast network together. One show at a time, be a part of all of it. Thank you guys so much for listening and being a part of this this harrowing journey with us. We appreciate y'all. See ya.